In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly
and Andrew Fiore.
The time has come again. A champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up in that, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to your favorite podcast, Defend Your Movie. I am one of your hosts, Sean Donnelly. I'm sitting here with your other host and my pal, my buddy, Andy Fiore, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, everybody. How you doing, Shawnee? Good to see you. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
We have
Merry
to tell
Christmas,
people,
Happy
sorry
Hanukkah.
for our absence.
Sorry for the slight delay.
I went on a Facebook, Instagram Live the other day, and I was making fun of you because I was like, "Stupid Andy, when Fish is in town, he goes MIA, and he's just gone." And you didn't contact me for like a week. This kid, he didn't ask me any questions, nothing for a week.
That is very true.
And then I look online, I'm like, "Oh, he's been going to a Fish show every night of the week because they have a different set every night."
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4 is like, yeah, that's pretty a lot. But that's why we did a lot of holiday stuff. I was away as well.
Exactly.
I was on the road. We just couldn't match up the dates. So we apologize.
It's a busy time of year.
Whoever is holding on to listening to the show and hasn't given up on us.
The few remaining defenders, thank you.
You are the ones that we love. The ones that stuck around.
You'll be in the Hall of Fame.
How was your holiday?
It was great, man. Like you said, I went to a bunch of concerts with my friends. That was always super fun. I went to my folks' house for a few days for Christmas, for the vacation, and then had some downtime to myself. No
great.
stand-up, no radio, just some Andy time.
That's the best.
Which I needed to recharge the batteries. So, because it's such a crazy time of year. Everybody's just psychotic, and everybody's got so much going on.
Yeah.
I went back to my apartment in Queens and just holed up for like 3 straight days.
I think that's what you need, though.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole point of the holidays.
Yeah.
Because I went to LA and I was able to chill out for the most part, but
even traveling, it's you still got that traveling.
You got to travel, but when we got there, I was there for 5 days, so I was like, had some time to chill, and then I went away for New Year's. I was in Minneapolis, but while I was in Minneapolis, even I was by myself, nothing going on, so it was just me walking around the mall most of the time. It wasn't bad, actually. Yeah. I felt like I was 90. I loved it. I was just like power walking in the Mall of America.
It's so funny how you get older, you start to see those things that you once looked at as in an odd way, and you're like, oh, I can see how this would be real nice.
Yeah.
I think about walking around a mall and not buying anything is really
nice. Yeah. Even the suburbs now, I'm like, oh, I can live here.
Oh,
yeah, sure.
I don't want to live near anybody after 20 years in this godforsaken city.
No way. Put me on a fucking farm. But I did when I was in LA. I watched. I saw the Star Wars. You didn't see it, did you?
I didn't see Star Wars. I saw.
You're not a fan, really, of the Star Wars.
I'm not like a gung-ho guy. I enjoy the movies just as much as anybody, but I'm not first in line to see them. I don't rush out to the theaters even. I haven't seen it yet. But that being said, I've always enjoyed them. When I was a little kid, I was more into it than I am now.
Well, I'll give you my opinion of what it was. All right, sir. I don't know if this will persuade you to see it. I'll tell you this much.
I'll get there.
It's not. Yeah, you can see it on Netflix or whatever, no problem. That's what I'll say to start off. You can see it on that on a big TV. You'll be fine. It's not ideal. I was talking to my brother-in-law about it, who actually used to work for George Lucas. He worked on the TV show that was potentially going to happen, but didn't happen. Not Mandalorian, but I think some of the elements of Mandalorian he might have worked on, whatever it was. But the straight up Star Wars show that they didn't do that George Lucas was gonna. So he loves Star Wars. Like, it was a dream job of his to work. He worked for Rick McCallum, who worked for George Lucas.
Right.
And I think one of the things that he said, which I agree with, is they should have had J.J. Abrams just do all 3 of these last part of the saga, because the first one, people railed against the first one, but a lot of people liked it. They thought it was a rehash, but it was really well done.
Yep.
And then the second was Rian Johnson did it. I actually did not mind the second one. A lot of people didn't like it. That's the Jedi one with when Luke Skywalker was in it.
my favorite out of the new ones.
Maybe it was for a lot of people, but I know a lot of people bashed it. People like,
Yes.
I think even actors that were in the saga might have not liked it. And then this third one, because Rian Johnson did the second, J.J. Abrams comes back and he kind of puts stuff that Rian Johnson did on the back burner. So there's a character named Rose that's in it that plays a big part in the second one that's kind of put as like a secondary character in this one. Also, he stuffed a lot of stuff into a tight movie. So he stuffed
Gotcha.
a lot of elements of the world. He tried to finish up the story really quick. I think there's a lot of cool scenes in it. It's in the trailer. The scene where she's in the desert and the speeder's coming. He's in where Kylo Ren is in his speeder and he's coming after her, and she does the Jedi jump over the badass.
Yeah.
Badass. But as far as story goes, I'm not going to obviously spoil anything.
No, it's exactly.
But as far as story goes, I didn't mind what the reveal was. There's a reveal in the story.
I
What
think
the
I know
reveal
this
was?
story.
You know what it is already?
Well, I'm not sure actually.
The
but-
reveal, didn't mind that. Didn't mind how
Okay.
it was. Didn't mind how it went down. Didn't mind the end of it. But if you watch it, you're like, this is cluttered. They're trying to get a lot in. They're missing stuff. They should have just had him do all three, or just did one extra movie, or did a super long last movie. Do a 3.5 hour movie.
Or was my complaint of the Star Wars franchise? Give it a little time. Do it
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like, that's why the originals were so good. You had a few years between them.
Yeah, well,
it felt like there was
have
one
a
every
few
6
years.
months.
They have a few years in these ones. Like the Jedi came out 3 years ago, whatever
right
it was. They take a little while, but you're right. Make sure it's right.
Yeah,
but also,
I mean, people would. Don't you think, especially the Star Wars fans, would appreciate a better movie with a longer wait time?
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Rather
they'd
than
be
a
like,
rushed
they're blown
product.
away.
Nobody likes a rushed product.
But the way-
anyway, Star Wars. Bah.
The way that I felt about it at the end also is that a lot of people are just over it. I think people are more psyched on The Mandalorian
Yeah.
because it's a more original take. It's a different story.
I mean, you can't go
They were-
2 seconds without seeing Baby Yoda.
Exactly. They were done with that original story. I think they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
done. So now, but I didn't mind it, but I could see the flaws in it. I could definitely see the
Right.
flaws. But it's worth checking out just for the story. It wraps up decently. It's fine. You see what happens. Like watch it. Tell us what you think. Tweet at us at Defend Your Movie. Tell us what you think of the new Star Wars. And this week, what are we doing on the show?
We are doing our best of 2019.
Yes.
Sean and I put together 2 separate lists. Now, we haven't talked or revealed them to each other yet.
Yep.
But as we did last year, we went back over the year. I went over the things that I've seen. Now, this is just what we've seen. I haven't seen everything, so it's my personal list. So it's going to be very subjective and arbitrary.
Same here. It's from
Yeah.
what I've seen. Because
Exactly.
I have also, full disclosure, I haven't seen Marriage Story. I heard it's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So stuff like that where there's a couple of things I didn't see. Ad Astra I wanted to see. I didn't see that.
Okay.
But that also got mixed reviews. So this is based off what I've seen.
All right, well, now that you bring up Marriage Story, that is in my honorable mentions. I did my top 10, and I'll be counting them down backwards. But we can start. I had 2 movies in my honorable mentions were A Marriage Story and Brightburn. And Brightburn was, I think we talked about it on the podcast.
And I never
'cause
checked it out.
I watched it when we were in Las Vegas, and I was just in my room chilling out one day, and I figured I'd put it on. And it's a fine, fun little movie. It's a good, nice story. And it goes against the grain of like superhero. It's
Yeah.
an evil superhero.
That's becoming
which you're
big
kind of
now.
seeing with The Boys and
The
stuff
Boys,
like that.
yeah.
So, good little movie. Recommended. A Marriage Story. I don't know why we need these Noah Baumbach movies. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't love A Squid and the Whale, and I don't like the Noah Baumbach, Wes Anderson, what do you call it? When they
connection?
were, yeah, whenever
I
they
think
were
it's a very-
together, Wes Anderson directs, they usually co-write. They're always lesser than what Wes Anderson does on his own or with Owen Wilson.
Yeah. I think there's a certain type of moviegoer that loves these. I think it's a certain experience.
Yeah,
I
it's
think,
just what I think people are going to take away from this is the acting. Adam Driver is great. Scarlett Johansson, fine. And that's I just watched it to watch it.
They're just not
I
for
was
you.
sitting around just going, all right, I'll watch this.
Yeah.
But it's like that slice of life type of picture where you go, all right, well, Annie Hall is that, but it's a brilliant picture. So you can do that brilliantly. This, I just go, okay, why do I need that?
You think it's kind of milquetoast?
Yes, very good way to put it.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of
honorable
blush.
mention. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's just an honorable mention. I thought it was all right.
I think it's,
I would have been fine if I didn't see it. I would.
Yeah. Is it really
It was
heavy?
on Netflix, which is probably why I watched it. If it was
Really?
in the theater, I never would have gone to see it. It's not that heavy. It's a story about divorce, and there's a child in the middle of it. and kind of New York, L.A. They're both pulling in two different directions. But again, aside from the acting, I go, I don't even. All right, fine.
But here's the thing. I think that's what it's set up for. The acting is what's supposed to be
and I get
front and center in those movies.
And for something like that, it's got those scenes where I go, all right, but that's not the best acting I've ever seen where that's going to carry the story.
It's just, he does topics that you don't give a shit about. I think a lot of it's about divorce. Squid and the Whale is about divorce.
Exactly.
So I think...
But this guy's also maybe just not one of my favorite filmmakers.
I'm not a huge Noah Baumbach fan. I'm not. So. But I think sometimes people they just appeal to a reviewer type thing, or you know what I'm saying? Like they appeal. They don't appeal to mass audiences. They don't appeal.
Oh, listen, I have total niche.
No, totally. I'm not saying you don't, but I'm just saying sometimes just by certain connections. I don't want to say he just makes his movie because it's only connections, but I mean,
apparently this was a very autobiographical for him.
Right, so he's involved. Yeah, he was involved.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's so. You know what it is? It's one of those things where it's like, I hate to say it, Noah, but it's so personal that we probably just wouldn't like this dude as a person. Do you know what I mean? Like, hey, you might be a shitty person because his movies have that edge. You're like, oh, you're kind of a dick. It's right. Even Squid and the Whale has moments where you're like,
I liked it better than Squid and the Whale.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Noah Baumbach fan either.
Agreed.
I'm really not. Yeah.
So
he's an honorable mention.
So to my number 10, just only because it makes a nice connection. Speaking of Rian Johnson, his written and directed movie Knives Out.
That's honorable mention or
That's
number 10?
Number 10.
Well, I didn't give my honorable mentions.
Oh,
you have to go back and forth.
All right. I didn't know you had honorable mentions.
Well, I have one now because you said honorable mentions.
I usually do extra. You usually do
an
less.
extra. Yeah. I have an extra, and this actually is perfect for it, and I have a reason why. Cold Pursuit.
Oh, okay. Liam Neeson.
I full on enjoyed this movie. It's just a violent action. Him chasing down these dudes that his son dies and he chases that. It's like it's not it's like Taken but done differently.
Okay, cool. Because it's on HBO right now, and I saw it on, and it was already started.
Movie.
I didn't want to watch it, not from the beginning.
It's a fun little movie.
Oh, great! I'll totally watch it.
It's done in a cool setting. It's Kehoe up in the mountains in whatever that is, Washington or whatever it is.
Sure.
So you have that the lonely, desolate looking thing, and then even there's a thing with Laura Dern's his wife, and there's a thing between them that is kind of secondary in the movie, but it's just kind of a cool, I'm gonna murder all these dudes type of movie. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So definitely check it out. And the reason why I think it's honorable mention and why I think it's so good is because ever since Taken and ever since Liam Neeson decided to become an action star, how many Taken ripoffs have they put out? And this is actually good.
Okay,
there's a lot of other ones that are just shitty.
Because that's, Taken, even the sequels, you're like, all right, we get the formula. But Taken's great. And then there was another one where it's maybe, I can't remember what it was. There's one where he wakes up and nobody knows his wife doesn't know who he is anymore. He goes to his life.
Oh, I forget what it's called.
It was a cool little twist, but he does these movies pretty good.
Yes, but
so that's good to see that there's this one's a notch above.
This one's great because it also is it's very self-aware. There's tongue-in-cheek type shit in it too, which I love. Right. It's not just trying to be straight up.
I will watch it.
Yeah.
But back to Rian Johnson. He wrote and directed Knives Out. Did you see it?
Yeah. Loved it.
Good little whodunit.
Not my number 10. Higher up for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I only dropped it down there because I just went in order of what movies I liked best and tried to put it in order, and this took a little bit of a back seat to me because I just really got irritated by Daniel Craig's accent. I go, what an unnecessary...
But it goes to 10 because of that? I think there's so many movies that it's...
I just have movies I liked more throughout the year ahead of it.
But the movie itself, the reason that I loved it...
How about Anna de Armas? Yacha Cha-Cha. I mean, and not only saying that, she was fantastic.
She was great in it, and it also has a little bit of a political spin in it, which is kind of funny.
Of course.
And but it's not too much where you're like,
great
all right,
cast,
that's enough.
good ensemble.
Don Johnson's great.
Don Johnson's having a little bit of a resurgence.
He is, because he's in The Watchmen, he's in this, and he was in a couple of movies. But I would say this, Rian Johnson is quickly becoming, because So the fact of the matter is that, I went to film school for about a semester. And, I don't want to really brag. But here's the thing, man. When you learn, even I took film classes at, Nassau and all that kind of stuff, the things that you learn about directing, it's like Rian Johnson is amazing at that. There's so many moments in Knives
Give me an
Out.
example in Knives Out.
I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay.
When he's trying to, Michael Shannon is trying to intimidate, what's her name? The main girl.
Yeah.
And all it is him just coming up to her and telling her how his family will treat her very well and all this.
Yeah.
But it's intimidating. And the acting does it. But what Rian Johnson does, he does. And it's a very basic thing directors do. He's doing close-ups on different things. So he's doing close-ups on her sneaker going up very slightly and trying to get like she's trying to get out of there, but like she's still there. A close-up on Michael Shannon has a cane because I think his character has like back injuries.
Yeah.
A close-up on his hand being restless on the cane, right?
Yeah.
But if you just took it as the words were, he's just saying nice things to her.
Right.
But the way the mood and
that's
his
good
music
direction.
involved and all that, it's great direction. And then the whole thing is like that.
That's good whodunit direction, too.
It's amazing whodunit direction.
I was completely wrong while I was watching the movie. I was like, I got it.
That's another thing I want to say. It's good. This is very rare
Good
these
reveal.
days. Good reveal and good all the way through.
Yeah.
All the way through.
I agree.
And when you have an encapsulated...
It was satisfying. Like, you didn't feel duped.
You were like,
Oh,
that
this
was
can
a
happen a lot of
great
times with
movie, a
whodunits.
great fun movie with no bullshit, no property it's attached to,
Yeah.
no reboot,
People I
no
like
this.
seeing on screen, too.
Exactly.
Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon. I like all these people.
Casting's amazing.
Yeah.
Michael Shannon's amazing.
Is that Chris Evans? Is that-
Yes, Chris
He was
Evans
good.
is awesome
He was
in
great.
it. And he's not Captain America. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, thank
Brian
God.
Cox. No, not Brian Cox.
No,
what's his name? Who I always confuse with Brian Cox.
Who do you play? The guy, the patriarch.
Yeah.
No, Christopher Plummer. That's his name, Christopher. Right? Isn't that Christopher Plummer? Yeah. I don't know. Do you want to cut this? But
Oh yeah. Why am I not?
Christopher Plummer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I
the
don't know
main.
why.
But I know he's in Inside Job too. He plays
Yep.
a bad guy in that. But he's great in this. And everybody and it's like one of those things where it reminds you of Clue, but it's actually a better movie than Clue,
Yeah.
probably.
Oh well, that's
Clue's
not hard to.
Well, Clue's great. But I grew up on Clue.
But Clue's more of it meant to be a comedy. I think.
Yeah, exactly. But this is supposed to be a comedy as well. And
Yeah, but I didn't take it as much as a comedy as more as a straight mystery whodunit.
there's a lot of jokes in
I didn't laugh
it.
a ton.
I think there's a good amount of jokes in it. But what I'm saying is, overall, when you get a movie that doesn't fall apart, you get a movie that everybody involved.
Yeah, those movies can easily fall apart.
It's all the pieces worked out perfectly, basically. You know what I
place
mean?
to be.
It's the place to be. So that's
one, everybody.
I'm a fan. So what's your number 9?
Number 9 is My Buddy is the Safdie Brothers' fifth film.
Wow,
Uncut
you are
Gem.
going 9 for this?
Yes, sir.
Well, because
I'll give you my reasons.
Yeah, I think
I interviewed the Safdie brothers on my SiriusXM show, Raw Report, which you can hear on demand. Our interview with them. It goes very deep into Oz, and they are Sandler guys. Like, they know their history. Let me tell you something about these guys. They are movie guys. They know their films. They know their TV. They're like us. They're junkies.
Yeah.
They know their stuff, and they know their references. Here's the thing. I like their movie Good Time from 2017. And when I saw Good Time, I go, all right, kind of a cool... I didn't know anything about them before. And I went, all right, cool story, cool movie. I like how it was paced. Now that I see Uncut Gems, is they took that pacing and, man, they are setting a style for themselves, which is heightening and heightening and heightening and just escalating.
Yeah.
And it's escalating problems. It's like, if you think one thing's going to go wrong, 10 more things are going to fall in line and go wrong after that. And that, here's my thing.
Organized chaos, I would call it.
That makes me very anxious. So it wasn't... I didn't love the way the film made me feel. I loved Sandler's role. I loved how they used non-actors and the role and the
But didn't you love that it made you feel something? Like,
yes,
you know
which
what I mean?
is why it's on my top 10. I left some movies off that I liked, but just I thought Uncut Gems was very good. It's just I have a hard time watching those kind of movies. It's just maybe as I'm getting older, I'm getting more anxious. But if you're an anxious kind of person, you're not going to sit right.
I gotta be honest.
Especially like if you've gambled before or involved in sports or know these kinds of people, it's a roller coaster. Which I agree. That makes a good movie if you can elicit those kinds of feelings out of people. Reactions. Yeah. That's good movie.
Look at Happiness. I would never watch Happiness.
Yeah, exactly.
Again.
So,
but it got a reaction out of me.
But yeah, that's why at number 9. You know.
All right, I get it. I'll tell you, I call it organized chaos. I think one of the reasons it's higher for me is because you want to talk about hard.
You're gonna hate my list.
You want to talk about hard to pull off. You want to talk about hard to pull off. Think about how hard it is to make that a cohesive film. All that stuff. Imagine what that script must have looked like in Uncut Gems. The script must have been.
See, I don't know about that.
It must have looked like a fucking basketball play sheet. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all over the place. People talking over people rambling. Phone calls going on while dialogue is going on. Like to make that come out like that. To me, it looks like it would be. I don't even know how they do it. That's why I think it's so good. It's not my favorite movie of the year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Those guys, they're very talented directors and very talented writers.
Well, that's why it's higher for me. It's probably it's in my top 5, definitely here.
What's your next one then?
My next one? Well, I didn't do my 10 because I just kind of said where my Knives Out was. I know what my last ones are, and you're not going to like this because I like these kind of movies. Like Captain Marvel is probably my number 10.
Yeah,
because I thought Captain Marvel was really good. I know it's not even on your list,
but that's okay.
The backside of my list is all stuff that you don't give a shit about.
Well, give me another one.
Like it would be like the Spider-Man, the European, the Far From Home Spider-Man.
I didn't see that one.
It's great. Jake Gyllenhaal's great in it.
Is Spider-Verse on there?
No, it's not. That's
really?
2 years ago, I think.
Oh, all right.
I think it's from 2 years ago. I think also Mandy's from 2 years ago also, correct?
Mandy was last year, yeah.
Yeah. So, but Far From Home is great. Like, I'll be on board any Spider movie because the guy Tom, what's his name, Tom Cowell? No, Tom.
You're asking the wrong guy.
The new Spider-Man, I think, is so amazing, and the way they do those movies, I think they're really well done. They're so. Okay. That's why I was so upset that deal didn't go through.
I think my number 8 is not on even your radar.
What is it?
The movie Yesterday.
Oh, with the Beatles, with the guy from India?
Guy goes to sleep or gets in a bus accident and kind of that old classic, gets knocked into a world where he wakes up and nobody knows who the Beatles are. And nobody's heard the Beatles music. And he takes it and kind of makes it his own. And I don't want to give any spoilers away. But it was a good movie. As a huge Beatles fan, it spoke to me. It was very well done. It was very well acted. Had a nice story to it. I just loved it.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I think we talked about it.
Also, because I didn't see either of the two Indian dude movies with American music ones. Because there's a Bruce Springsteen one too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Guided by the Light, I think it's called.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the movie. It's a very enjoyable movie. You're definitely going to get more out of it if you're a Beatles fan. That's a bonus. But well acted, and that kid's very talented. He could tell is a very good musician too. But I loved it.
I'll give you my number 8.
All right, sir.
I just saw it recently. It was a lot of fun. This is also, I'm putting these on the back burner because I'm like, they're not masterpieces, but they're just fun. Ready or Not. See Ready or Not?
I can't even think of what it is.
Oh, but the girl, she gets married to the dude, and then she finds out there's a tradition where they have to play the game.
Okay.
Did you see it?
No, but I was going to maybe watch it over the break, and I didn't. But now I know what it is, yes.
It's like a not scary movie, not a horror movie, but it has horror elements.
Thriller,
like
suspense.
The violence, it's like suspense, but the violence they use is like very realistic, and you're like, oh, like gurgling.
I don't mind that.
You know, when it's like that, it's so real.
It's not like super gory, like Saw gory.
No, it's not Saw gory.
Right, then I can handle it. Yeah,
but it's not far off. It's like there's gore, but it's so sporadic.
Don't you think that's another thing when you're getting older? I'm desensitized toward all that, but then I'm not as I get older.
No, because I'm
just kind of like, all right, come on.
That's the argument of why video games and TV shows don't make people fucking homicidal killers. Right. Because when push comes to shove, you're freaked out by actual real violence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is great. I'll give you a couple of reasons because the cast is like virtually unknown. What's her name is the mom. Like, I always forget her name. Plays the mom in it. She's famous, and I forget her name every time. But she's like the most famous person in it, and the rest of the cast is pretty.
Andie MacDowell.
Andie MacDowell. I always forget. Andie MacDowell is in it, and she's great in it. And but it's a fun movie. It
All
could
right,
have
cool.
been. It could have been better. It kind of reminded me of Knives Out because that whole like we're in
Yeah.
an old house and stuff's going on.
All right, I
but
like
it's
this. I'm
definitely
going to
different.
watch Ready or Not and Cold Pursuit now.
Yeah, definitely. What's your number 7?
Midsommar.
Oh, I won't watch it. Dude, people are like,
Here's the thing,
people
I-
are scarred. Somebody was in it. Somebody who's in it, I think, is scarred from it or something like that.
Come on.
Dude, it's fucked. I heard
You
it's
haven't
fucked.
seen it.
But you know it is. It's messed up.
Ari Aster's follow-up to Hereditary. I'm telling you, I love this guy in his first 2 films. Both knocked it out of the park for me. I watched Hereditary again recently. Doesn't hold up as well because of there's such a reveal. Once you've seen it the first time, you go, holy shit. The first time you see Hereditary, there's a twist that happens about a half hour and you go, Jesus fucking Christ. I wish I could talk to you about it, and
my
I don't
God.
want to tell it. But so that being said, once you've seen it again, it still holds up as a great horror movie.
Yeah.
But it's not like where The Shining, where I know everything happens. It's not as great where I can watch it multiple times. That being said, I don't know how well Midsommar is going to hold up on repeated viewings too. Now that I know what happens, this was a funnier film. This is definitely lighter than Hereditary,
Yeah,
but it's
there's a lot
as
of
fucked up. This
fucked
guy
up.
makes a fucked up movie, man. And then there was
This really gets me,
reveals.
man.
Like a couple months after the movie, somebody figured out something that you could see images because it's a very trippy movie too, and you start to see him as putting images of one of the deaths in the trees and shit. And you go, holy fuck! Mind blowing stuff. But just
So
you
you're
know me.
subliminally
It's
watching
It's
the-
like how you enjoy the cartoon character, like movies like that. I love a good horror movie like that.
Yeah.
So it's for me, it was great.
I can't. I just get too freaked out by stuff.
And it's a slow
I still
burner
haven't
too.
seen Human Centipede. I won't even watch that. And I heard that's not even that bad.
No, it's not. It's more cartoonish than anything.
Yeah, but it's
More like
the idea
it'll
of
make
it-
you squirm.
Ugh, that's so gross.
All right, what do you got, Chachi?
Oh shoot. I just deleted my notes.
Oh no, you didn't.
I swear to God.
You hit
Hold on, I got it now.
Control Z. Control Z.
For number 7, I'm going with the list. I just jotted them down, and I'm deciding what number 7 is. I'm gonna have to do this, and this might be really unpopular, and you might get mad at me
I
right
think
now.
I know what it's going to be.
Irishman.
Ooh.
The Irishman number 7.
Wow. Very high.
Because I did like it a lot, but there's things I liked more than it. And somebody has to be number 7. Yeah. and I think there was a lot of I had a lot of issues with on. It's funny because this is the year of me watching a movie and changing my opinion down the road of a couple of different movies.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. But I'm like, this one there's another movie. My number 1 is the one that I'm going to tell you that I changed my mind on. And this one, I definitely like it less the more I think about it. But I want to rewatch it.
I think I know it's one of 2.
What, for the number 1?
Yeah.
You know what I know you know what it is. But I don't want to say it yet. But,
Okay.
but I think that
debating
the
if
acting
it's-
was brilliant. I think I've said this before on the podcast. I think that The Irishman, I think it made you realize that Joe Pesci might be the best actor out of all those Martin Scorsese guys.
Brad Pitt won the Golden Globe over Pesci and Pacino.
Yeah, I know.
Pacino might have won
For
lead, not supporting. I don't know.
supporting for
I guess it was De Niro's movie. Yeah,
De Niro's movie.
Yeah, you're right.
De Niro should not. I mean, he's probably gonna be nominated for Best Actor. He shouldn't be. It's not. It wasn't deep enough for De Niro. I think the story was. I think it was a fun story. I think I think it wasn't Goodfellas. I think they kind of misrepresented it as like, hey, this is gonna be Goodfellas too. But whatever. I know it's not. But I think there was also, there was something to say about, even though it sucks, but we're living in a time where the technology thing becomes an issue because the fact they had De Niro,
They did some things wrong.
They did some things wrong. Yeah,
It's long, and they could have cut things, and they
should
got
have had a body
stunt
double
for fucking De Niro.
Exactly.
I mean, who? Like, come on, we're all seeing it. How could you? Who got that? Who did that get by? Where you thought that would have been passable?
Yeah.
You know.
So I think
people are gonna.
Overall, it's basically like mixing the two styles of Martin Scorsese. Sometimes he makes these epic movies.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
And then he makes the Goodfellas
clunkers,
types.
yeah.
So it's putting those two together. It's an epic crime world fucking movie, but it's not one. It's not his best. It's not. Maybe it's in his top 5. What do you think? Maybe it's 5.
I have to look at the whole list.
Yeah,
I can just think of 4.
But it's like
Maybe.
there was more business buzz around this thing than there really was when you actually sit down and watch it.
You're not makes the top 5. All right, well, it's in my top 5 of the year, but
what's your number?
You're gonna think mine. This
is 6. This is 6, right?
For me, yes.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's number 6.
Yeah.
All right, should I say it now?
That was your number 1?
That's my number 1.
I knew it was.
That's my number 1. And I can explain my reasons, but we're up to you. So you tell us why it's 6, or what you liked or disliked about it.
I loved it. I watched it again over the break. I loved the acting again more than the story. I thought it was too long. I didn't love the script. It was feel like the least Tarantino script of them yet. It didn't feel... If you told me another writer-director had written that movie, I would have gone, okay. Whereas if you tell me Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Hateful Eight, any of the other Tarantino movies, I go, those are undeniably Quentin Tarantino movies.
Yeah.
This just didn't have that feel to me for it. Loved it, just not... I have 5 movies above it that I liked better this year. So I'm not taking anything away from the picture. I loved watching Pitt, and I loved watching Leonardo, and I loved the ending, and I love how Tarantino kind of does this, what you see with Inglourious Bastards. He'll rewrite history for the movie. I don't mind that at all. I think that's fine. And, he obviously rewrote the Manson murders. It just wasn't my favorite movie of the year. I liked it fine.
Yeah.
But those are my reasons, really. It just didn't feel like that. I just wanted more Tarantino.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And so do you want me to say my ideas now?
Sure.
For this? It's funny because I had the same... When I first saw it in the theaters, I had the same outlook you did, where I was like, it's not Tarantino. It's not... You're right about the script. It's the least like a Tarantino script. But the more I've thought about it, when I saw it in the theaters, I was like, I did not like that movie.
That's why I watched it again. I go, I'm probably wrong.
Yeah.
And I usually have to watch...
I've watched it 3 times since. Now, the reason that it's not his most Tarantino-y type Tarantino movie is the reasons that I'm liking it. The acting is bar none. But I wrote this online the other day, and a couple people commented, this is what does it for me. The reason it's my number 1 is... The reason why it's my number 1 is because I came around on it, and I've rewatched it the most out of anything, and I've learned to love it because... There's a line in a review, I think they even used in the commercial, where they said, this movie cares. This movie, every ounce of this movie cares about what it is.
Yeah.
Cares about what it's doing. Cares about, like if you watch it, I realize what the experience is supposed to be. It really is. It sounds like a cliche thing. It's taking you back. Like, you really can get an idea.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh my God, I'm living in the 60s for 3 hours.
For sure. And that's his love letter to his favorite genre or whatever he grew up in.
To L.A., Hollywood in the 60s. That's what it was. Fine. And he did it to a T. And I have learned, I dig the idea of what it is. It's just... What?
Long.
It's super long, and it would make you feel more mad. They're coming out with a 4-hour version of it next year or 2022 or something.
But here's the thing. Hateful Eight is long, too, and I know you don't love Hateful Eight.
I like this way better.
Oh, I like Hateful Eight better.
Way better
Hateful
than
Eight,
Hateful Eight.
that's Tarantino. I get the Tarantino feel to me.
Yeah, but
it's got that great ensemble. You've got those great roles. You've got the great dialogue. It just feels good to me.
I've been such a Tarantino fan for so long that when he breaks out of it, I'm starting to like it better now because...
I mean, his batting percentage is, through the roof.
Fantastic.
So it's like...
Inglourious Bastards, not very Tarantino. That was the least Tarantino to me since this one. And I love Inglourious Bastards. Inglourious Bastards, I love. Like we said, opening scene is one of the best ever. So what happens with it Once Upon a Time, it grows on
Nazis.
You. What?
Nazis.
It grows on you. It makes me happy. And my friend Kevin wrote in a comment, I think it might have been from the same review. He goes, movies can kill Hitler, free the slaves, and give Sharon Tate one more summer. And I think that's such a cool idea. It's a cool way to put it. I think the fact that it's like a movie lover's movie, I think. It's like one of those things where it's it's almost like hey, this is a love letter to the fans of movies as well. Just that whole sequence of her going to see the movie. It's like, yeah, maybe you could have shortened it or may not needed it at all.
The Spahn Ranch scene is great, but it's long. You don't need him going to see
Nah, Spahn Ranch scene is great. I think as is. That's
It's
the one
long.
thing.
It's unnecessarily long.
It's not built up. How much tension was built up during that scene?
All right, you could still probably cut that. Not completely,
But I think I do have the opinion about his editing, and I think I told you the reason why. I think because Sally Menke died, and he's like, and now whoever's editing for him is probably just intimidated by him. And he's like, I want this. You're going to do what I say, even if it's like it's subtle and subliminal, So, but when it comes to this movie, I just have learned to really be. I really dig it. I really dig it, and I think that. I think the best way to put it is saying that it cares. Because think about all the other movies, right? Think about it almost is like a thing where you look like look at Gone with the Wind. It's like Gone with the Wind, but of the 60s. Do you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Where the substantialness of this movie is why I ended up loving it so much. If you watch it, you realize the labor of love that was put in to make it, and the guy that was doing it. Yeah.
So, all right.
So that's why it's my number one. But now I revealed that we're running out of time anyway. But so what's your number 5?
Ad Astra.
Oh, my number 6 would be. I already said that, right? Irishman. Or I said 7.
It's my number 4. Irishman.
Irishman's your number 4.
Yeah. We don't have to rehash it again. It's just there's a few ahead of it I liked better, but Ad Astra you should really watch. Great. I love Brad Pitt. I'm a Brad Pitt fan.
He's amazing. That's another thing I didn't bring up.
This is a slow burner too, but man, I watched it over the break and it was really fucking beautiful and a cool story, and just I'm surprised he didn't get nominated for this. I mean, so I'm really I can't ruin it, but you should watch it.
I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it.
You love space and alien shit too, dude. You would love it.
I'll definitely watch it.
So we can jump ahead to. I have my top 3.
Yeah, we're down to 3 now, right?
Yes. You're gonna hate my number 1, but
well, we got to talk. I know we have a common one on here. Joker's on there.
Joker's my number 2.
Okay, all right, Joker. And we did a whole thing about it on the show, did we not?
Yeah, we went over. I mean, I've watched it twice now as well, and it holds up for me. I think it's just a great.
You watched it twice?
Yeah, I watched it twice.
Yeah,
I saw it again. I think it's a great standalone Joker movie. I think it's the performance is amazing. Its direction is amazing. What was I going to say? The score is amazing. That way, won for score on Golden Globes, by the way.
Yeah.
I love the character development. Like, we all thought, we love Joker because of the mystery behind. We don't know the character origin,
but you don't mind finding out.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic.
Talk about unbelievable acting. I love the Joker. I would say it's probably number 4, number 3 on mine. I loved it. A development since we talked about it last when it came out. They're doing a sequel. They're going to do a sequel.
I know.
And maybe that'll ruin it, but maybe it won't. I can't. These guys. There was a lot of.
You never know. I mean,
you never know. But I love Joker.
Once they see the dollar signs,
you kind of nailed what I think about the Joker. I think. We talk about Joaquin Phoenix all the time. The guy's unbelievable. He's if Daniel Day-Lewis is retired, is Joaquin Phoenix the new Daniel Day-Lewis? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
pretty close.
You want to talk about artistry and craft. This guy is. And to hear his story that he almost quit and he was talked back into acting it's so great that he's around. And
it's also insufferable with those speeches, though.
Yeah. That's why people act.
Hey, I was texting my buddies while I was watching the Golden Globes, and we're just going, they're so off. And then we go, you forget actors are generally kind of douchey people.
Yeah, they're into themselves.
Exactly.
Ego, yeah.
Oh, yeah, what do we expect from these people who are paid millions for this bullshit job?
But I think that, it's a good character study movie, and
phenomenal.
He's everything around him, and it's a cool story, and it's cool. The ambiguity is really cool in it. The idea that maybe it's the origin story, maybe it's not. Maybe it was in his head, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a thing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know, and that's kind of, it keeps things kind of copacetic as far as the world goes.
2 things I just thought of completely having back to do with Once a Time in Hollywood. Number 1, Tarantino happened to actually mention the flashback scene, so it was definitely a memory. And
it is a memory. If you watch it, I watched it again. It's definitely a memory.
Yeah, me too. And the second one is somebody called us out because our favorite line of the whole movie was,
I know.
"It's a great fucking note," and we were like, "That's hilarious!" And then somebody was like, "Are you sure he's not saying Rick fucking Dalton?" And he's absolutely
He's
saying Rick fucking
100%
Dalton.
saying it. And I wish I had the
if
tweet.
you put the two together, great fucking note, Rick fucking Dalton. You can see how we would get
Oh,
confused.
absolutely, but it's not what it is. And I'm like,
I go, great. Now me and Shawnee can write great fucking note into our own. Now it's up for grabs.
we'll do a script about it. We'll do a Western. Great fucking note. I don't know why I thought that was the case or why we thought it was.
I heard it
you
too.
heard it too, right? Yeah. I'm wondering if
For that character, both were perfect.
it would have been. It would have made so much sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the Joker, and then Once Upon a Time. What's your number 3?
A little movie from South Korea called Parasite.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's great. And that guy won Best Foreign Film, and he had a cool thing. He goes, once you get over a 1/4 inch of subtitles, you're going to open your world up to a whole new world of great movies. And he's totally right. A lot of people brush things off because of subtitles, and I'm one of them from time to time. But I knew this had a lot of hype behind it, and it was great, man. It's a really, really cool movie. I can't give away any spoilers because it's a very twist-heavy oriented type of movie.
I gotta watch it.
But it's beautifully shot. It's beautifully acted. Really great. I don't know any of their names because, I just don't know the actors. But they're all really good in it. It's a really clever, original film. It's super original. I've never kind of seen or heard any ideas like this before. And I just loved it, man. And then it takes a left turn. And you go, holy fucking shit. Great movie. Really well done.
And what's your number 1?
The Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh my God!
do you
That's
mean?
the Shia LaBeouf one.
Sorry, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
All right, so how can you roll your eyes at it?
Is it that? That's your number 1
That's
of the
my
year.
favorite movie of the year.
Now, I'll tell you. Now I'm going to watch it.
It's a great. It's
I
a
wasn't
comedy.
gonna
It's a
watch it.
drama. If you've ever seen the basic plot is a kid with Down syndrome is a big wrestling fan. He breaks out of an assisted living facility. He's roommates with Bruce Dern. And
Bruce Dern just plays.
he's fantastic. He
like
Bruce Dern
invalids.
perfectly.
Yeah.
What's her? I can't think of the actress's name, but I've seen her a bunch. Shia LaBeouf's in it. He plays kind of a. Have you ever seen the movie Mud with Matthew McConaughey?
No.
Very similar kind of character, kind of a Southern Louisiana fan boat kind of fisherman type of guy.
And it's based on his dad, right?
He's an outlaw, and it's just kind of it's a buddy comedy. They forge this beautiful kind of friendship, and then this kid's trying to get to this wrestling
Event.
like school, and Thomas Hayden Church plays this old school wrestler. And it's I hate saying corny, but it's a beautiful film. I loved it so much, and that's why this was my favorite movie of the year. It was a feel good, but it was also a very dramatic movie, and it's
So you liked you thought that was the best one of the year.
that was my favorite movie of the year. I'm not saying it was the best. I'm saying this is my list.
And did Shia LaBeouf? He wrote it, not directed it, right?
I don't think he directed it.
But he wrote it, I think. Or was that the other one?
Tyler
that he wrote?
Nelson, Michael Schwartz.
Wait, so what was the one that Shia LaBeouf wrote? Was that a different movie?
Yeah, that was.
What's the one where he plays his dad?
That's it's called like Sweet Bobby or something. I know what you mean.
Oh, that's a different movie. Okay, yeah. So I gotta check out. Who does he play in this? He plays just the.
He plays kind of like an outlaw fisherman who's kind of on very hard times, very poor. Is like stealing lobster traps, these other like rival fishermen's fan boats.
Oh, okay.
And it's after like the death of his older brother, and he's just having a hard time, and he's just down on his luck, and then he meets this kid. It's a great movie, man.
Now, as far as technicalities go, good writing, good acting, good directing.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
The acting was great.
Not
and that
too
says a
long,
lot
not
because
too short,
I don't love
not too-
Shia LaBeouf, but
That's
he's
how
a
you
good
know it's
actor.
good. That's how you know it's good.
Yeah. The kid who has Down syndrome, is a real life kid who suffers from Down syndrome. Fantastic. I mean, it just a wonderful performance. Everybody was good in the film, and it's a cool story, and it was my favorite one of the year.
Very nice. Well, there you go. Mine was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which will probably win the Oscar, and Andy's was Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah, I don't.
Wow.
Don't talk down to it.
Well, I think we know what I'm not saying I just said I went to film school for a month, for a semester. And I think we can see where the difference in know-how comes in.
I know how to pick a better movie.
Well, there you have it. There's our top 10 for the year.
Let us know what your favorites were, please.
And I think a lot of people's is going to be uncut gems for the year. Tweet at us, everybody. Tweet at Defend Your Movie and let us know what give us your whole top 10 list. Tweet your top 10 list. Let us know which ones you agree with, which ones you don't. If we're talking out of our asses on certain things or whatever. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what do you think of the year as a whole for movies?
I thought it was a good year.
I thought it was disappointing.
Really?
Because we had so many hyped movies where I go, you had a Scorsese, you had a Tarantino, and they just didn't quite live
For
up.
you.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
I just, and as a whole, you just kind of go, as I go through those, and I went through, I go through the whole list of, and what I've seen. Granted, we haven't seen everything. Not my favorite year of movies.
I thought movies were talked about this year more than in past. I don't know. I felt like I was, even with having the podcast, I feel like I was more. People were talking more about these movies than.
Yeah, well, and I think that just happens with the age we live in now, though, too, with social media, and there's 5 different trailers for everything. But that being said, this will be an interesting development to see what happens next week when we do our best of the decade. Can we defend your decade? We can finally do the teens.
Oh my
We've
God.
done everything else. We're finally there.
Oh my God.
We did the 70s, we did the 80s, we did the 90s, and we did the 10s, I guess, whatever they're.
It'll be interesting to watch, because I kind of remember a couple things I said in past episodes of Defend Your Decade, and it'll be interesting to watch like how the teens stack up.
I was going to also say, and how 19 stacks up to the against the other teens.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
So that'll be a fun one. So stick around for that.
Yes.
Thank you again for bearing with us. We had the holiday break, so we replayed our best of 2018. If you want to go back and listen to that, maybe compare that with this one and see how they stack up. But again, tweet at us at Defend Your Movie. Tell us what your favorites were, and tell us why we were wrong. Of course,
yeah.
Obviously, this is everything opened up for discussions. Why we do this?
Absolutely, and we're on Instagram as well. There's not much on it, but follow us at Defend Your Movie on Instagram. And yeah, remember this: subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, and that you're reviewing, because I feel like we fell off on telling people to review. Please review the podcast. Let us know. Let your friends know. Share the episodes. Do whatever you can to help out the show. We're still working on some stuff that we're not lying to you. We're working on some stuff that could affect the show, and we will let you guys know. But definitely reach out. Tweet at us is the best way. We'll write back. Ask anybody who's tweeted, and we value your opinions. If you have a good matchup, let us know. We'll jump right on it, and we will see you next week. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.